This video is part of the Human Design series. And what I am unpacking here is the how to read the genetic matrix 7-day view calendar and what the different bits mean. So if we go into the calendar, we can see there's a bunch of information there. Starting across the top, you're going to choose your name, you're going to choose tropical, you're going to choose the date, and you're going to choose the 7 days view. So that's how we access this. You click on calendar, choose your name or choose the chart that you're wanting to read for, tropical, the date, 7 days view, and then the time zone. There's opportunities there to download it, the little images there. So you've got the create PDF or the download JPEG, and then the time zone. Then we get to the date, which is going to tell you what you're looking at. So the 1st to the 7th of February 2023 is when this particular chart is currently looking at. Now, one thing with this, when you choose the date, what it does is the first day of the month becomes the first day of the week for the rest of that month. So, for example, in February 2023, the first day of the month is a Wednesday. And it doesn't matter which week in February you go to, that week will start on the Wednesday. And so that's just the way it plays out. All of these bits are interactive. So if you click on any of them, you will find that they pop up down the bottom. You can click on any of the planets, you can click on any of the gates, and that will appear down the bottom. Now that list, so we've got the planets moving down. I'm not going to read out the planets because that's not my strength, but we're going to have the Earth and the Sun is the top. And then we've got the nodes. They are marked up always as being in retrograde because they move against the regular flow. So retrograde simply means that the position is moving what is seemingly backwards. Clearly the planets aren't moving backwards, but they seem to be moving backwards from the Earth perspective. And so sometimes that will happen with the planets. It will always be happening with the nodes. So that little R, the little purple R, means retrograde. Then we've got, for this chart, they're almost all highlighted. So there'll be the information. So that circle with what looks like a line through it is actually like a little information symbol. Where that's not highlighted, so on this particular chart that I'm looking at, it is not highlighted on Sunday down at Pluto. And so that unhighlighted bit means it's not interacting with the chart in question. Where it is highlighted, it means that it is interacting with something in your chart. So for example, in this chart, almost everything is interacting with either something else in the transits or something in the chart. So for this particular chart that I'm looking at, so the 60 is in the root center. So the transits are activating the root center. So what it means is that they then become active because, so the 63 here is blanked out because it's dormant. It is coming off an undefined center. Where, and by here I mean in the Sunday through Tuesday on this chart that we're looking at. Whereas if we come back through to the Wednesday through Saturday, the transits are, so generally this person has an undefined root, but Wednesday through Saturday, the 1st through the 4th, the root is activated by gate 54, I believe it is, that's activating it. So the little information means that it is active and connected to an active or a defined center, whether that definition is in our natural chart or whether that definition is in our transit chart. And so for this particular client or for this particular chart, the 60 is active. The Pluto 60 is active in the root because the root becomes defined. Whereas when we get to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday on this chart, it becomes inactive. So it's still in the transits. It's just because the client or because the chart, the person's chart that we're looking at, the client, doesn't have a defined root, it becomes inactive. So the little information pieces tell you what is currently active in your chart as a result of the transits. The blue channels here refer to the channels that are created with your natal chart combined with the transit chart. So you will have certain channels that are created in your natal chart. These are created with the transits. So the blue ones are where, so for example, this client, so if we look here, the 214, we've got the 2 is in Uranus, but you can see there's no 14 in the transits, but that's because this client has the 14 in her natal chart. So the 214 is created in her, in that combination. So they're an electromagnetic channel or a dominance channel with the universe. The same with the 3254, the 2644. The 44 is active in the nodes. The 26 is in this client's natal chart. Then the purple ones are where the transits are creating a channel in and of themselves. So if we look at Saturday the 4th, we've got acceptance 1762 down the bottom there in purple. And we can see that 62 is, the moon is in 62 and Jupiter is in 17. So the position of the moon and the position of Jupiter, the position of Jupiter create a channel, 1762, so acceptance. And then the same on the Sunday, I'm going to guess it's the moon again. So the moon is in 31 and the earth is in 7. So they together create an electromagnetic channel. And then on Monday the 6th, we've got the logic channel 463. So we've got the moon is in 4 and we've got 63 in Venus. So the 463 is created. Then as we get to the end, so you can see for this client, this week is quite full in adding in extra things with the transitions. Some weeks are quite full, some weeks are not. So the other piece that I want to add in around this, across the top, we've got these numbers. So the grayed out number is the line that the sun and earth are exiting, and the colored number is the line that the sun and earth are entering. So you can see here, all of these have their decimal points, their lines next to them. So 45.4, 54.2 reading down in the Wednesday column. But the sun and the earth right at the top don't. They've got 19 and they've got 33. So the day starts with 19.5 and it ends with 19.6. Starts with 33.5 and ends with 33.6. So the sun and the earth transit through a line roughly every day. And so you can see that transition. The grayed out is the going out line and the colored line is the coming in and the active line. And we can see those numbers of what time exactly down the bottom. So we can see on Wednesday the 1st at 3:28 a.m. I apologize, I need to make that screen a little bit bigger so that I can read the numbers. 3:28 a.m. the little woman, which is Venus, is moving into gate 37. At 4:08 a.m., and this is Australian time, the moon is moving into gate 45. Then at 16:22, the moon is moving into 12. So the moon generally moves through 2 or 3 channels every day. And so you'll see that there's 2 or 3 moons, 1 or 2 moons down the bottom every day. There'll also be the sun and the earth, and then any other planets that are coming in. So we've got Venus on Wednesday. And then if you look at Saturday, we've got Mercury. And then on Sunday, we've got Venus again. And then on Monday, we've got Mars, the nodes, and the moon. And you can see on Tuesday that node fades out, so it's no longer interacting, and like Pluto is faded out. I think I've covered everything in that. So this is how you read the chart. This is what you're looking for. The understanding the channels is a much longer conversation. What you're looking for is which are the channels that are activated for you through the transits. and what's playing out. And you also can then look at the gates that are activated for you from the defined centers. It's also worth going to the single day view as you're learning to view which centers are being defined through this. So you'll have your natal chart or your original body graph, the one from your date of birth, and then the transit chart, and they layer over. So the day view gives you another perspective. I'm not going to go into all the details on this. They're very similar to the details. The only thing I'll point out, your natal channels are noted on this page. It's just a little bit more detailed on the individual day. And if you're wanting to take notes and create a to-do list, it's not a bad sheet to print out. Though personally, I do a weekly reflection. And so the 7-day view is what I tend to play with. So I trust that that answers any questions you may have had. And if you have any other questions that I didn't answer beyond how do I define the gates, because that will be covered elsewhere. If there's any questions on how to utilize the 7-day view of the Genetic Matrix calendar, please reach out. If you don't yet have a Genetic Matrix account, you'll find the affiliate link below this video. So enjoy your transiting and your exploration, and I shall connect with you really soon. Bye.